If you've ever wanted to do your live graphic recording using your Neuland water-based markers on top of some digital graphics that you've previously printed, then this video is a description of a certain type of paper that can facilitate that in ideal fashion. I'm going to share 3 case studies, each that features a use of this large paper, which is known as BlueBack Paper. But to explain why I went looking for a paper or a substrate to draw on like this, let me describe it to you in the form of a client ask, a particular project that had some additional things involved in it. So the additional thing in this case was a video. The client had a full day of graphic recording, but they also wanted a video that corresponded with the graphic recording. And so what we did is we made the video, as you can see, and the video ends with a composition that's been designed with the intent of then drawing on top of the blank spaces in the video. So my original plan was to redraw the entire end state of the video that I had drawn digitally, only now I was going to draw it with my Neuland markers. Well, I was thinking maybe a little bit in the interest of me being lazy, but also I was mostly interested in the canvas that I was going to start on, the template that I was going to do the graphic recording on, that it would have high fidelity. And so I thought, oh, it might be better rather than me drawing it, besides the fact that it would take a while, to print it large format. Sounds great in principle. So I went looking for large format printing places, and that conversation turned into a hunt for the right substrate. And of course, large format printing places will have like different substrates, ranging in their terms of their behavior from coated or uncoated. But most of them, I had a hard time finding one where the Neuland water-based ink wouldn't pool up on the surface and take too long to set. In other words, if I were to do a template printout on a paper that large and then try to draw a Neuland on top of it, I'd have ink smears all over the place. It just wouldn't work. So I was looking for paper that would work. And so I found my way to a large format printing place that actually did outdoor billboards, and they recommended a paper they called BlueBack. And when they let me go into the shop, I pulled out the Neuland, I hit it with some ink, and within seconds, was swiping it, boom, the ink had set up. So I knew that was the paper. So here is some imagery from that event. You can see the graphics. You can see me drawing on top of this paper. It's kind of interesting to me that the graphics originated in digital world as pixels, in this case for a video, but if you do digital graphic recording, you're in and out of paper and pixels all the time. Incidentally, sometimes when I've been filling in closed shapes in my paper graphic recording, literally my right arm has gone up to grab the fill from the upper right hand corner of the screen of Procreate to drag and drop color, and my brain is like, oh yeah, you're not in computer land, you actually have to fill it all in. It's always funny to me that my brain sometimes doesn't differentiate whether it's paper or pixels. But anyways, you can see how that event worked out, and so now I've got this capability moving forward. Here's an annual event where this has shown up again, a very, very short event, but nonetheless, it was a situation where I know I'm only going to be drawing for a tiny bit of time, so why not just draw on top of essentially something that looks out of the promotional materials or the branding for the event itself. And so you can see here some of this imagery at an Alberta Health Services Executive Education graduation ceremony, firstly in 2022 and then again in 2023, same location. You can see here that I've just printed a template. In this case, there was some very specific names of the graduating participants of the course on one side, and then they were going to have a ceremony, and they wanted to have some graphic recording for that ceremony. So I just used the BlueBack paper again and printed these great looking graphics and used the Neulands on the BlueBack, no bleeding. It worked out great. Okay, last example, and this one is kind of the case in point why I think that others would be well served and in knowing about this paper. So I had a client, and bless her heart, she is kind of the creative force in this project. I had worked with her previously on a municipal project that involved digital illustration and large format printing. That project wasn't really a graphic recording one, sort of was. Actually, here's some images of it. It's kind of a fun project, worth noting. Anyways, in this case, she had a celebration and she wanted to have a kickoff event, and she wanted to have a digital illustration installed on location to kick off a year's worth of celebration for, in this case, a mall. And so I did the illustration on a template, and what I did was I left a blank spot, a small blank spot for, again, a short event, the intent of which was to have these graphics printed and installed. And then also I was going to do some ceremonial live graphic recording in the negative space that was allotted for that graphic recording. So in all three of these examples, you have either an illustration or a video and some negative space, and you want to draw into that in a participatory fashion with attendees. And so that's what we did. You can see here the event. Now I'm actually doing the live graphic recording. And then, of course, that artwork was then digitized and given back to the large format printer as a digital file. And then they installed the digital version of the live artwork supplementary in the negative space on the template, as you can see here. So let's think this through here. In the first example, we went from digital video to canvas, back out to paper, drew on the paper. As always, the artwork ends up being a digital deliverable, and then in the second, the exec ed instances, they had graphics. We printed them, we illustrated on top of the graphics, we digitized them and delivered the artwork back. This last one, though, was very interesting because we had digital illustration. We printed on a variety of substrates, including vinyl, which was installed, but also paper to do the drawing. Did the drawing, created the artwork, delivered the artwork, and the artwork was then printed again on vinyl and installed on location. So the BlueBack Paper allows you to respond to all sorts of multimedia sort of creative asks. And while sometimes it can be sort of risky to go out of scope and to redefine the scope of a project, it also can be instructive to experiment and play and ask yourself, can this be done? And if so, how could it be done? Good luck being always as consistently profitable and efficient when you're constantly reinventing the wheel. But I do think that the BlueBack Paper serves a really cool function. And so you should go find somebody in your area who prints on that stuff and practice printing some of your digital graphics, large format, and draw on top of them. It could be quite cool. I think it's quite cool. Cheers.